19, Project Management with Office 365 and SharePoint. A couple of housekeeping items before we get started. You're welcome to submit questions at any time using the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. We'll address them during the QA session at the end of today's webinar. If we don't manage to answer all of your questions, someone will follow up with you shortly via email. We'll also make a recording of the webcast available to you within a couple of days. We'd like to start out today's webinar with a question. Do you have SharePoint on-premises and Office 365? While results are coming in, I'd like to introduce you to Yaakov Cohen, Harmony co-founder and CEO, who will talk about managing projects with Office 365 and SharePoint using Harmony. Yaakov will reveal how to improve your project management using Microsoft tools you already own. Harmony Chief Technical Officer Richard Poole will demonstrate project management using Harmony from both desktop and mobile devices. Yaakov, please give us the results of the poll.
Thank you, Susan, and welcome to everybody on the webinar. We have today an amazing audience. We have already online 231 people. We joined this webinar, people coming from Europe, from North America, and we had even people from Australia which wanted to join, but 3 a.m. there, so we promised that we will send them the recorded version. So thank you, Susan, also for the poll, and thank you everybody for attending. We have the results of the poll are pretty amazing as well here. We have already 31% of the attendees, so almost 1/3 of the attendees are using Office 365. We have 36% which are using both, and 25% which are using only SharePoint. So we have a great audience in quantity and quality. And today is also an amazing day for Harmony, as we are launching Harmony 2015 for both Harmony email and mobile. And one of the major goals of Harmony 2015, with the introduction of multiple features such as SharePoint List, is to optimize project management using SharePoint and Office 365. So this is what we're going to discuss in this webinar, and I wish everybody a very pleasant, informative, and productive webinar. So why talking about project management? Well, as you know, SharePoint is very much loved by IT organizations, but unfortunately often hated by business users. And the SharePoint adoption remains low as a result. For example, last week I was in Paris in a big SharePoint conference, and even a Microsoft executive admitted that even at Microsoft, Office 365 adoption was an issue. Analysts report an average 11% adoption rate of SharePoint, which means that for every 10 deployed license of SharePoint, you have only one user actually using it. So there is a huge gap between IT and business when it comes down to SharePoint. And there has been always a pretty big gap between IT and business, but this is only getting bigger with the introduction of the cloud, where line of business are picking and choosing their own offering without even consulting with IT, the rogue usage of document sharing such as Dropbox or Google Drive. And this is not just a technology issue, this gap. This is first and foremost a language issue. IT and business don't understand each other. So one very effective way actually to bridge that gap is to focus on business use cases, to define together with the business what are the key business scenarios which can be optimized by SharePoint, Office 365, and Yammer. The main question and the main challenge is really to work together as an organization, both business people and IT people, to really transform the business and to be very pragmatic about it. What are the exact workflow which can be digitalized? That's why at Harmony more and more we are working with our SharePoint partners and working with our customers to put together a collaboration workshop, helping the IT community and the business community to sit together and to really identify the key business use cases which can be optimized. And project management is one of the best candidates as a workflow to be optimized, because we are all using project management. We are all being part of projects and managing projects. And the more agile the enterprise becomes, the more projects are being created ad hoc. The hierarchical structure is less and less relevant. What we are all doing, we are collaborating across line of business, across departments, across geography and organizations in order to get the job done. And that's also where SharePoint excels. A lot of IT organizations are using SharePoint to better manage projects using shared calendars, SharePoint lists to manage shared tasks, document libraries to share documentation, contact list of project members, in order to have the latest information available at your fingertips. And we have worked with a lot of IT organizations which have built predefined project templates on SharePoint, which can be used by the various business units and managed by IT. So for example, in order to manage the project life cycle, to enable collaboration during the project life, and when the project is done, to be able to record the actual elements which needs to be archived and later on findable in order to be compliant with the company procedures. So what are the high-level business requirements for project management? So they are really pretty simple ones, but which are not so easy to actually meet. We all want to see up-to-date information, these contact lists, these calendars, these documents. We need to see them up to date. We want to be able to see the latest version, so we don't have two different people working on two different versions of the budget. We need also to be able to access this information regardless if we are at the office using our laptops, our desktop, or if we are mobile on the field. We need also, it's not enough to be able to classify information on SharePoint or to upload documents on SharePoint. I see a lot of customers which are talking about SharePoint as a document graveyard where nothing can be actually found. So you need to make it easy to search. And in order to make it easy to search, you need to make sure that it's easy to classify documents and information on SharePoint. And you need this also for third parties. So a lot of time we are doing these projects across organizations with business partners which are together with us are delivering the service in order, and they may belong to different domains. So we need to be able to collaborate not just within the organization, but also with business partners. So if we summarize our business requirements, we need to be able to easily publish project-related content, regardless if we are on mobile devices or in the office. We need to be able to access this information from our mobile devices when we're in the field, so we have up-to-date information. But we also want to get automated or real-time updates. So I don't want if I have a document has been updated, I want to see that on an activity stream. Same thing for calendar events or tasks. I want to be able to look at a stream and to see that something has changed without having to constantly go back and check or make phone calls to ask my colleague if he has finally completed the requirement documents. And I need to be able to follow conversation and document to stay on top of the project. So these are the basic business requirements. Before we move on, I would like to ask you who are using SharePoint and Office 365 for project management, or one of the other for project management. So let's see the results of the poll. Wow. We have the vast majority here of our attendees are actually using SharePoint or Office 365. We have 62% of our audience, which is now up to 266 participants online. So definitely a really important topic. And a lot of people are using SharePoint for project management. So let's see how Harmony can really help you to take project management on SharePoint to the next level and to meet the business requirement that we have looked at. So here, in order to publish content, we have introduced with Harmony 2015 a new property editor, which is a full window property editor. This has been demanded by some of our largest customers, which really wanted to make it really easy for their business user to fill the required property. And when you make the right thing to do, also the easy thing to do, guess what happened? They actually do it. That's what I use with children as well. That's a really good way to get things done. And not only you can update metadata when you are at the office, but you can even update metadata and classify documents properly even when you are in the field using Harmony Mobile. So no more excuse now from your business user to say we are not compliant and we cannot update the properties editor with the required properties and comply to our taxonomy when they are in the field. The other things we have introduced with Harmony 2015 is the SharePoint list. And this enables me now to have instant access to SharePoint lists within my email client or while on the go from my mobile device. And I also can access and see the update. I got an update stream available both on Harmony email or on my mobile device. I see what's going on, what are the discussions going on Yammer, but also updates of my contact list. I see updates of my task list. I can really have a full view of the project activity regardless if I'm in the office or on the go. So we are enough for the talking. Now we have talked the talk. Let's walk the walk with Richard. Richard, please.
Thank you very much, Yakov. So let's see how Harmony 2015 can help me to work efficiently and collaboratively with my project team, keeping to project milestones, and reacting to unplanned changes. So from the update stream in Harmony 2015 within my Outlook, and also is available across all of my devices, we can see that I'm able to follow not only document libraries, but also other items, in this case, a project task list. So we can see that there's a new task that's been added to a project that I'm working on. And I need to see what impact this will have on the meeting the deadlines and key milestones of the project. So let's take a look at that task. From reviewing all of the properties of the task using the new properties editor in Harmony 2015, I can see that the task is not yet assigned to anyone, and it's not been started, obviously. So now what I want to do is I want to edit that task directly from my Outlook within the Harmony sidebar, and I've got a really flexible and powerful properties editor directly in front of me. So I'm going to assign this task to one of my project team members and search for that person in SharePoint and assign the task to them. So I'm going to save my changes. Now I need to see the impact that this new task that we've just been working on has on the project to avoid obviously costly delays, and so to review the documents that relate to that. So I can use the Harmony sidebar again to actually navigate to all of the different areas of my project. And as Yakov highlighted, we're supporting not only document libraries and task lists, but all different types of lists, contact lists, and other custom lists as well. So let's take a look at the project documentation. And we can see here that I can review the related documents, in this instance the change order for this project, and this is obviously driving the task that we just had a look at. I can also take a look at the project plan and see what kind of impact this is going to have on my project, and I can do that all within Harmony 2015. I also need to capture some other important project-related documentation, for example, the contract that relates to this new requirement, as well as some email communication that actually indicates that those changes have been approved. So I can drag and drop, as we've seen before, emails directly into the sidebar, but in Harmony 2015, you'll see that the properties editor for my documents is very much more flexible and really is exactly what people have been asking for. So we can see that I can update the document status here to say that these changes have been accepted. And also you'll see that the emails that I've dragged and dropped into the sidebar have also been marked to say that they've been saved to SharePoint and the location that they've been saved to. I can also mark this library as a favorite, so I can easily follow the information within that library for any activity. So when somebody else within my project actually updates any of these documents or adds new documents, I'll be informed that that has taken place. Now, as a mobile worker, I'm no longer tied to my PC, so I need to have access to all of my project data across multiple mobile devices, such as my iPad in this instance. So here I could be in a meeting on site with a customer, or in this case I actually had a trade show, evaluating some solutions to the new project requirements that we've just been taking a look at. So from my iPad, I have the same intuitive user interface and even the same favorites that I added from my PC, because Harmony 2015 uses my SharePoint profile to actually store the favorites and sites that I'm connecting to. So I can work across my devices in a seamless manner. Now, I've actually met with one of my colleagues at this event, so I need to take a look at some of the documentation. And I want to see how that's impacting the overall project. So I'm going to open up the project plan directly within Harmony 2015 and not only view that plan, but also annotate it as well. So I'm going to highlight on here the areas that I have concerns about and the fact that this is the task that we need to be working on, and it's obviously going to be affecting this milestone here. So I'm going to save those annotations so that my project team can be kept up to date, and they'll see updates in their update stream within Harmony 2015 across all their devices that I've made those annotations, and they can review them and see how that impacts their tasks as well. I also want to check the approval before we move ahead that we had for this particular change. So you can see that I can access the email messages that I uploaded from Outlook earlier, and I can also view those within Harmony 2015. So it's exactly as it was received, and I can also reach out to the person who actually sent that original email, in this case Harmon, and get to his contact details, reach out to him maybe from my phone or from my tablet to send him a message or discuss the impact that these changes might have. In this particular project, I also want to capture some photographic evidence of what I've seen at the trade show. So I'm actually going to take an image and copy that. When I go back into Harmony 2015, you'll see that it asks me whether I actually want to upload that image into SharePoint. At this point, I can navigate to the library. In this case, it's going to be a digital assets library against this project. So all the mechanisms around managing digital images and things are fully supported. So let's say that this is feedback from the trade show that I'm at the moment. I also have the opportunity to actually add or change any metadata. So for example here, I can say the project that this is particularly relating to. So within Harmony 2015, across both my mobile device and my desktop, I can not only view but edit all of the metadata in a very nice and intuitive way. What I also need to do is take a look at the team calendar against this particular project. So again, you can see within Harmony 2015, I can access the shared calendar from SharePoint, and I can see that, for example, there is a project review meeting later this week. I can see all of the details of that meeting, and so I can be prepared for that with the tasks that I'm working on. So now that I'm happy with all the solutions that I've seen and the impact that this change is going to make, I'm actually going to go to my tasks and update it to say that it's now in progress. So let's take a look at the task list that we started off with, and I can also filter that using any of the views configured in SharePoint. So I'm going to take a look at my tasks, and here's that task that was assigned to me earlier on. So now I want to actually edit that task and update the status. So you can see now I'm going to set that to be in progress, and when I save that, obviously any properties that are driven from that particular event are also automatically set. So for instance, I can see it's now 50% complete. So thank you for listening and learning some of the great benefits that Harmony 2015 can bring to project management from all my devices.
Richard, before you turn it back over to Yaakov, I see a couple of questions have come in about your demo. The first question is, I get user complaints about not finding documents in SharePoint. Can Harmony help solve this problem?
That's a good question. And of course, metadata can really add lots of value to the documents and obviously items now as well that we store in SharePoint. And not only does Harmony allow me to find those items and documents that I'm looking for, but it also allows me to easily assign metadata, even like I said, to multiple items in one go. So let's take a look at how we could do that in a nice, easy way, obviously using the benefits of Harmony 2015. So let's use the breadcrumbs at the top to navigate maybe to a different environment or a different library in this instance. And here I've got a whole bunch of documents that maybe at the moment aren't actually categorized because people haven't assigned the metadata yet. So I can take, let's say, a whole bunch of documents. Let's select relevant documents that apply to a particular project that I'm working on. And I can right-click and bring up the properties, either for viewing or for editing, the properties on all of those items. And again, that new properties editor in Harmony 2015 is really, really nice for the end user. So it means that, for example, here I can set the project or the legal case matter in this instance to be a particular property, and that will be assigned to all of those documents that I've just selected. Now, viewing and editing metadata is one thing, but as the question just asked, how do I actually find those? So Harmony gives you a couple of different ways to do that. Firstly, you can search on any document in a particular library or a site or a site collection. But moreover, you can also utilize Harmony 2015 to actually filter the information that I'm looking at. So in this library, I might have thousands of documents, and I'm just interested, let's say, in that patent filing legal case that we just tagged those documents as. So I can then apply filters to the views and the libraries that I'm working in, and I can even then mark that as a favorite location so that I can follow it for any activity, again, across all of my devices using Harmony 2015.
Thank you, Richard, for that very thorough answer. There's a next question I see is, somebody is writing they have field workers who don't have access to the internet. Can they support offline from their mobile devices using Harmony?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just switch back to my iPad. Let's take a look at it. And of course, I think a lot of project management scenarios across any industry really involve project members traveling with mobile devices to various sites, some of which may have limited or no internet access at all. If we look at, let's say one of my favorite locations, in fact, let's take the location that we just marked a moment ago. You can see that obviously that's still filtered by the metadata that I applied, that patent filing project. And because I've marked this as to be available offline, you'll see that at the top of the properties panel there that it's updating that because I'm just displaying it at the moment. And that can be automated so that whenever I'm online, it will automatically download the latest copy of that document. But what about when I'm offline, as you've just asked? So let's go into airplane mode on my iPad to kind of simulate the fact that I'm somewhere with no internet connection now. So Harmony detects that I'm offline and goes into an offline working mode. And you can see that not only can I access my documents, but also all the metadata, and in fact any list items as well with all their metadata too. So in this instance, it's a document, and maybe I'm on site at a customer, and I need to review that and make some annotations in a similar way to what I did earlier at the trade show. So let's just mark an annotation here. I don't know, let's say this needs to be looked at. And when I close those, likewise, I still get asked, do I want to update the document with those annotations? Now, because I'm offline, that operation is now pending, and you can see that that's highlighted there. And if I just tap on the top right, I can choose at any point in time whether I want to discard those changes or synchronize them when I'm back online. Also, I've got a really nice, easy view to see all of the documents that are pending. So if I go to my locations and my favorites there, you can see I have a specific view of any pending items. And let's, I guess, just illustrate a common use here that maybe somebody who is online has also updated that document. So here's that document we just worked on, and let's maybe edit some of the properties. So let's just change one of the classifications there. So now it's updated on the server, but also on my mobile device, I've updated it while I'm offline. I've added those annotations. So let's go back online and see what Harmony 2015 offers me as it connects. So you see it's going to try and download the latest version of that document. But the fact that there's actually a newer copy of or a newer version of the document on SharePoint. So I then have the option to say, what do I want to do with that? And it really allows me to resolve the conflict between what I've changed in my document or my version of it and the document that's changed on the server.
So let's summarize some of the things that we have seen here. I had one question about what's new in Harmony 2015. As you have seen, we have complete list support, read and write, both from the Harmony email and from mobile. The other thing you have seen on Harmony email, a new property editor, which is a full window property editor, making it very easy for business users to fill the required property. We have seen also improved offline support on mobile, having the ability to take offline. Now you have even the ability to take offline an entire folder or an entire document library. We have also introduced PDF annotation, the ability to annotate PDF, as we have seen from Richard. And on both email and mobile, we have the ability to share OneDrive for business documents. This is very useful for the situation I described before, as part of the business requirements to enable third parties which have a different email address or a different domain name to participate in the collaboration on both using Harmony email or Harmony mobile. And the ability to send multiple SharePoint documents to colleagues in a single operation. This is also supported, so you can, this is facilitating, for example, migration from shared drives to SharePoint, or migration from Lotus Notes to SharePoint, the ability to selectively choose multiple attachments and to do a single operation and to update the metadata in a single time. A lot of our customers have been using that. Okay, so this has been a very prolific year for Harmony. In terms of product award, we have been named as the best international application at the Microsoft SharePoint conference show, the worldwide SharePoint conference event in Las Vegas. And this was for Harmony Email. Harmony Mobile took 2 product awards, one from the Mobility Tech Zone and one from CRN, which actually was released yesterday. So pretty good year in terms of product awards. This positive sentiment has been shared also by analyst firms. We had multiple coverage from both Gartner and Forrester. Also, in one of the best one was about the mobile collaboration client. The Gartner sees the requirements for IT organization to aggregate multiple collaboration functions within a single app and a single screen. And the key players in this field are, as you can see, Harmony, but Apple, Google, IBM. We have seen Salesforce also doing something like that with Salesforce One. This has been also a very good year so far with the Harmony customers. We had 256 new organizations which joined the Harmony family in 2014, and which puts the total number of organizations which are using Harmony to 886. And if we look at the total number of users, as you can see, we have largely passed now the 1 million watermark, and we have 1,242,705 users. Hopefully we have some additional users which started since we started the webinar. So this is some important information I wanted to share to our existing customer and to our soon-to-be customer. We are also, as part of the Harmony launch, we are offering a free collaboration assessment session for the webinar attendees, and you will be able to just simply open the poll and join and say yes. So we will contact you and you will be able to enjoy a free collaboration assessment session. The goal of the session is to help you identify a business use case for collaboration using SharePoint, Office 365, and Harmony, which will optimize your business workflow and which will show the benefits of SharePoint to your business community, something we have done with a number of our customers very successfully. Okay, let's give it, and we will move to the Q&A. So let's see the Q&A here. We have a number of questions.
So, Yaakov, can you ask this? I see one of the questions is, what's the difference with Harmony for email with the 2015 version?
Yeah, so Richard, maybe you want to clarify the additional features on Harmony email. And by the way, Harmony 2015 email version and mobile version will be available during on December 16th. So about 2 weeks from today. Richard, about the new features on email versus mobile?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the new features on the email side are mainly around the custom list support, which is obviously quite wide because it means that we're supporting, like contact lists, task lists, and custom lists. But also the new properties editor, which is applicable to all of those list items as well as documents as well. And that really does change the kind of user experience quite a bit. So on the mobile side, if you're asking that as well, the key changes in 2015 are around being able to annotate documents both online and offline and synchronizing those changes. So we've introduced that kind of conflict and synchronization management into the product, which we will be extending as well. And that means that I can also even add list items directly while I'm offline too. We've also got a new interface that I didn't actually show in the demonstration, but so that you've got a choice between a list view and a grid view, so that in your viewer you can actually access all the columns in your libraries and lists that are defined in those views. But also something I did show was the MSG viewer. So that really ties into the desktop and the mobile. Again, it goes together with that kind of synchronized experience, meaning that emails that I've captured from my desktop are now visible and viewable within the Harmony application in a very, very nice way. So we've got that inbuilt MSG viewer.
Okay, great. Another question that we have here is we are using Office 365 for continuous administration with annually, monthly, and weekly recurring tasks. Can you manage alerts and task reminders? Do we support recurring tasks?
I mean, you can follow any item in SharePoint in Harmony. So like we could follow a library or a list, we could follow an individual task. So for example, when that task is updated or when that task occurs, we can be notified about that in the update stream of Harmony.
Yeah, I would like also to remind everybody we have the poll on the screen and offering a collaboration expert to help you identify business use case. Simply answer yes while we are completing the Q&A and wrapping up this webinar. Let's see what we have. We have a question here. Let's see, a lot of questions. We're trying to get through that. Okay, another question here is about when I get an email with an attachment, I want to drag it into Harmony as a new version of the document. But the document doesn't have the same name. I want to be able to do it while keeping, while returning to the original name. This happens a lot. We have seen that. I will answer this question. This happens a lot with our legal advisors. You know, lawyers are fantastic. My father-in-law is a lawyer, and I still suffer him. Nevertheless, I love renaming documents, which is you send a document with one name, you receive it back with a different name based on the fine name convention of the legal firm. And we have a feature that maybe you can show, Richard.
Yep.
To actually, in order to enable this, the proper management of versions, we're enabled to update the document on SharePoint and to automatically come back to the original name. So Richard will take the control and show it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to make me the presenter, then of course I'll share my screen. So yes, we have a feature specifically around that because it is a very common use case. Like you say, if you're sending a document to somebody and they've changed the file name, so they've added their comments and they've sent it back to you. So I guess just to illustrate that, let's take one of the documents that I've got here and drag and drop that on top of an existing document. And if I just hold that over the document and an existing document of the same file type. Hold on a second.
This was an unplanned demo.
There we go. It's okay. There we go. So if I just highlight
the job, so. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So if I just hover over an existing item and let go when I drag onto that, it will create a new version of that document with the original file name. So now if I take a look at the version history there, you can see that there's a new version that's just been added by me dragging and dropping onto there, even though it's got a new file name.
Okay, another question which I will answer. We have a number of customers asking us for support for macOS. Unfortunately, Outlook on macOS doesn't offer the same open interface that Outlook on Windows, so we do not support Harmony on macOS. However, we do support Harmony on iPad, so what you can do is provide an iPad with a nice Harmony mobile. That's the best we actually can do. Another question here for you, Richard. Is there an option to restore an email back to Outlook after moving it to Harmony?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always drag and drop an item back from here into your inbox. So, for example, if I just drag that back in, copy and paste it.
Okay.
I thought you, maybe not. Sorry.
Okay, so we will wrap up. You can stay in touch with Richard and Yaakov, and we will follow up with everybody which asked about the collaboration assessment. We'll continue the Q&A on our blog. We want to thank everybody for taking the time and all the great audience, both in quantity and quality, the great questions. We apologize for some of the glitches, but that's what happens when we do things live.
And thank you all and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.